Good morning, you're Joshua Barlow, and this is, 17-26688, and Mr. Barlow is on probation for the second-degree felony offense of possession of a controlled substance. That probation was from September 18th, 2017. There has been a motion to revoke that probation. It looks like it was an adjudicated probation. Sorry, I'm trying to read that going back and forth. Was it a 10 over 10? Yeah, we're only here on that one. Okay, so it was a 10-year sentence that was probated for 10 years. And so there's no bond that's been set. Mr. Lewis has filed a motion asking that I set a bond in the case. It looks like the allegations in that hearing, or in administrative hearing that went into that motion, were that Mr. Barlow has allegedly committed the offense of terroristic threat of a family or household member November 2nd of 2025 in Harris County. That looks like failed to avoid injurious or vicious habits. The defendant has allegedly previously assaulted the victim in the Houston PD case, in a Beaumont PD case. Failed to gain permission to leave the county without permission when he was in Harris County. Failed to update.
Let's pause here. This probation dates all the way back to 2017, and it's an adjudicated probation, meaning if the judge revokes it, there's no new trial. The sentence is already sitting there, waiting. That changes the stakes dramatically in a bond hearing like this. This list matters more than people realize. New alleged violence, travel without permission, drug use, missed fees.
A physical address. Did not immediately report the arrest to the probation department. Tested positive for THC in March and April of 2025 and behind in his fees. Let's see, hold on, sorry. Mr. Lewis, you may proceed. Mr. Barlow, best you can, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead.
In this situation, of course, Mr. Barlow has been charged with his offense over in Harris County. His family has retained me to represent him over there. So what I'm trying to do is make sure we're not a situation where that case is just sitting while he's here. When we're dealing with this, we're trying to make sure they get resolved at the same time. To do that, of course, I would need him with me to appear over there so we can get something resolved. So I'm just waiting on the rest of the discovery over there. So I definitely would need him with me so we can try to get this resolved as soon as possible. Because I think a lot of the allegations and the motion deals with that particular day, whether it's the offenses itself or issues with the playing witness or even the admin. Because even with that situation, Judge, I believe a lot of that has been resolved already. Because when he was arrested there, the initial thought was that he was staying in Harris County or living in Houston at that time, and which once that situation was resolved, they changed his bond conditions. Initially, he was not allowed to leave Harris County. Once all that was sorted out, he was able to come back to Jefferson County, and he's been on bond technically for the past couple of months.
On bond for the Harris County
case. For the Harris County case, right. And of course, he went into custody as soon as this motion was filed. And a lot of that information I do need to get through their pretrial services over there. He's being supervised over there in the pretrial services. But again, a lot of that comes to me having him with me so we can appear. As far as the next court date, as soon as he bonds out, he'll probably be back on the docket over there within a couple of days. He is currently still on bond. It's not a hold for him over there. As far as the issue with the complaining witness, As of right now, towards the bond conditions go, there's no contact in place with him and the complainant, and also there's a emergency protective order that's still active from this case as well. So any concerns with any type of involvement with him and her or anything that situation, of course, those conditions they are available plus any others the court would deem appropriate, and of course any other conditions that the court thinks or best in this situation will monitor that matters. Any concerns there, I'm more than willing to comply with that. Now there is one issue though with that. With the motion I just was thinking of, because previously Mr. Barlow was given permission to move to Harris County. And to my understanding, I don't know when that ended or anything, to go back to where he's supposed to just be here, but he was given permission at some point to move to Harris County. For a few years now, he has been trying to find employment.
Judges don't just hear violations, they hear risk. And when an alleged new offense involved the same complainant, alarms go off fast. Defense strategy check. This isn't about saying nothing happened. It's about logistics and control. Get him out, line up both counties, resolve everything at once. Smart lawyering.
So we're living over there in his family. His wife did, so that's why recently she moved ahead and moved with her and the kids. He was still staying here with his family until he can get the appropriate permission to go, because probation was telling me he couldn't move to Harris County. But I don't know who's made the call, but at some point from the bench, you gave him permission to move to Harris County if he could find somewhere to live. This was a situation where he was receiving some threats and that things dealing with the murder case from a few years ago. And that's when we approached you and talked to you about modifying that.
Okay, I need some more information. So, where does... Hold on a second. Where does... Is it Brajan? Brajane. Where does Brajane Foster and your children live now?
Brajane Foster works at
I didn't ask where she works. Where does she live? Where does your mom live?
She just moved to the address. I don't know that, Judge.
What count? What town?
It's 320 Cole. It's 07.
What's mom's name? Spell it.
E-R-E-W. Middle name A-N-E. Last name M-A-N-N-I-N-G.
And she's actually in the court of me.
Okay. And she's willing for him to live with her if he makes bond? Miss, and just for the record, I am reviewing the administrative hearing packet that I was sent before the motion, which also includes the probable cause affidavit for the Harris County offense. So I do have at least what the probable cause affidavit states for the underlying offense over there. In addition, included in that was another probable cause affidavit for a similar offense against the same complainant back in 2022 here in Jefferson County, Texas. So it looks like that's what, when I read out that allegations in the motion, that this has been an ongoing issue, it appears. Ms. Malfino, what is the state's position?
Judge, I certainly take Mr. Lewis at his word. I appreciate everything he's done with respect to the Harris County cases. Due to the fact I've been in the court for so long, I know this defendant, and I've filed several motions on him myself.
I'm looking back.
When I reviewed the entirety of this NTRP file, including motions that go all the way back almost 9 years, and it's given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, that's what gives me some hesitation. It's a pause on him being granted a bond. Certainly, it would be helpful for those offenses over there to be resolved. It would probably be easier to resolve it there than me require those people to come here, which I would be happy to do. I don't know their level of cooperation, if I would be successful in that. My hesitation is just with the entirety of Joshua Barlow's file, not just the singular instance.
I don't disagree. So what's the status of the relationship with Regina?
That's my wife. And she didn't have any bad times. It really was she had gotten a good car. I paid for my car to get fixed.
Okay, I don't need all the. So your intention is is to remain married, and because at one of these things, something that I just read, she stated to an officer that she had been trying to get a divorce for some time. Is that not?
She requires for me to call her over the phone so she can talk to my mom, kids, and things like that. Call me too.
And Judge, I can just say from what I have had a conversation with the complainant and what she's explained to me, that's not her wishes. They're trying to work through their issues and still be together.
Sounds like y'all had a long time to work through issues, and at some point I got to protect people from themselves. Not right now. I'm reading. I guess what I'd like to know, have you spoken? You haven't had an opportunity or reached out to her,
Just because it's just
right? I think, yeah. I guess part of what I would like to know, and it's not that it matters necessarily if you have the. My concern is this continued relationship, and so if I give him a bond and he gets out to go to Harris County, that gives me concern. Because part of the condition of the bond would be to remain as far away as possible during this pendency from her.
And that's why I brought up the issue. There is a no contact in place right now, as well as the emergency statement, which
That'll
expired in
90 days.
I think it's 90 days. It should be close to expiring, but then of course the no contact is in place, and that no contact is not.
But only works if the judge believes release won't make things worse. This is the moment that shifts the room. The judge isn't looking at just one allegation. She's looking at a pattern across years, involving the same relationship. When courts say ongoing issue, that's shorthand for repeated danger. That line, sometimes I have to protect people from themselves, is judicial code.
It's her, but the actual physical address where she lives.
So is that 6604 Belfort Avenue?
It would be 12244 Harmony Street.
What was the name of it?
Harmony.
Harmony? Like AR? M.
M-A-N.
Harmony. And that's in Harris County? And that's where she lives right now?
Are you ordered to stay with place of business?
Yeah, not to go.
Which was Memorial?
Memorial Army Brain Surgery.
Is that downtown in the medical center? So does she come here and see the kids? How does that work with your mom?
She probably have came once or twice. I don't know, being children.
When you weren't in
I
jail?
was taking my daughters to take care of the kids with my mom. She wouldn't have had nobody watch the kids when she was at church, so I had to live with me.
Okay. Over there in Harris County.
The kids are at home. She didn't have nobody to watch the kids. So I had to keep the kids.
But you had been, so when this thing happened over in Harris County, she told them that y'all had been living at that Ormondy Street for about 2 months. So you had gone over there with the kids and were staying with her on Ormondy?
I was trying to help out. I wasn't moving out there because I was waiting for the probation officer to get me educated at the door. Try to talk to you to transfer. Told me, yeah, switch me right to the probation officer.
Well, you're not going to Harris County. That's not going to be an option. So what I'm going to do is grant the motion and set a bond. I'm going to set the bond at $50,000. Condition of that bond, if you make it, is that you will be required to live and be. Were you working anywhere? Okay. So you'll be required to be on house arrest at 320 Caldwood, Beaumont, Texas, except for court in Houston. And you will be required to give probation department here. If you make the bond, you're on probation. You get an officer here. You need to go see them, talk with Mr. Lewis, and then Mr. Lewis can get proof of a court date, send it to them so that they know that that's where you're going. If you're going to Harris County and that GPS shows you going anywhere else other than straight to court and straight back, it's a violation. You're going to be back in custody. You are now on my bond and on the probation, if you make it, the bond, also ordered not to have contact or communication with Rajan other than by phone for the kids. I would rather your mom make those arrangements and talk to her and you not even speak to her. You cannot allow her, if she's going to have visitation with the kids, you need to be gone. So if she's going to come here and see the kids at your mom's house, you need to go talk to Mr. Lewis so he can talk to me so we can find somewhere for you to go because you're supposed to be in house arrest, so it's a whole thing, right? But it's all so that you have no contact with her. Also, you cannot, if the GPS shows you're getting close to Memorial Hermann instead of the downtown Memorial Hermann, it's part of your bond that you can't go there here also. So you've got 2 cases, 2 judges telling you what you can and can't do. You better abide by all that or you're going to end up in custody with no bond again. Okay? All right. Yes, sir. Talk to Mr. Lewis because I would like for you to work if you can here locally, but you need to have permission to do that. Permission if you find a job over the phone or if you know some people and you can get a job, he can contact me. I'll talk with Ms. Malfino if I approve it. If you have certain place you need to go for an interview or something, then I would like for you to work, but for now, until you have some specifics where you're going, what you're doing, then it's house arrest without that permission. Okay? All right. You can go back with the bailiff.